You are adrift in the quiet dark. The gentle hum of the life support system is your only companion. It has been this way for a very long time. Your ship, the Wanderer, cuts through the endless night. You are a scavenger of lost things, a seeker of forgotten stories. Then something new breaks the silence, a soft chime from your communications console. It is a sound you have not heard in years, not out here in the deep void between star systems. You float from your bunk. Your feet find the cold deck plates. The chime sounds again, insistent and clear. Before you is the console screen. It displays a signal, tight beam and repeating. The transmission is weak, almost lost in the stellar noise. But it is undeniably there. A ghost in the static. Your fingers dance across the controls. You amplify the signal, boost the gain. The message begins to resolve. It is a voice, faint and filled with static. It speaks of a place called Vega's halo, a human colony thought lost for centuries, a myth whispered by lonely travelers in station bars. The voice is calm, almost mechanical, yet underneath you hear a strange urgency, a plea across the gulf of space. The message loops, a single phrase repeated. The children of Sol are not forgotten. Find us at Vega's halo. It is a beacon of impossible hope, or perhaps a very clever trap. Your ship's computer warns you against it. The Vega system is unstable. Its star is dying. You pull up the star charts. Vega is a red giant now, a bloated monster burning away its final years. Any planets in its habitable zone would be long gone, burned to a crisp. Yet the signal persists, a whisper from a place that should not exist, a place that calls to the very core of you. Your mission was to find salvage, to uncover relics of the past. This signal is more than a relic. It is a living echo, a thread of human history you thought was severed. The risk is enormous. The potential reward, immeasurable. To find a lost branch of humanity, to prove the legends were true. You could ignore the signal, continue on your planned course, sell your current cargo and live comfortably. But the thought dies before it can fully form. The spirit of discovery burns too brightly within you. That faint voice from Vega's halo has already captured you. It is a puzzle you are compelled to solve. You change your ship's course. The Wanderer turns its nose toward the dying star, toward a ghost story and a forgotten promise. The journey will take weeks. Weeks to cross the empty dark. Weeks to wonder what you will find. Will it be the cradle of a new humanity? Or will it be a tomb? The message continues its loop, a lullaby of mystery guiding you onward. You settle in for the long ride. The ghost signal is now your only guide. Your ship drops out of faster-than-light travel. The transition is jarring, as always. A sudden lurch from unreality to reality. Before you, the Vega system burns. Its star is a colossal red eye. It dominates the view screen with its sheer size. A dying god, bleeding light into the void. Everything is bathed in a deep crimson glow. Your ship's hull plates shimmer like metal dipped in blood. The interior lights of your cockpit flicker. They fight against the oppressive red washing through the viewports. It is a somber and magnificent sight. A star in its final, glorious death throes. You coast forward on low power. The outer system is quiet, devoid of the usual traffic you might expect. No cargo haulers, no patrol craft, just the silence of a graveyard. The red giant's light casts long, eerie shadows. Asteroids drift like forgotten headstones. They are the remnants of shattered worlds. Your sensors begin to map the system. They confirm what the old chart suggested. The inner planets are gone, swallowed by the expanding star. The habitable zone has shifted outwards, out to the very edge of the system, where Vega's halo is supposed to be. Your ship's computer works silently. It compares the ghost signal's origin with your current position. The source is close now, very close. The computer places it just beyond a small moon, a moon orbiting a gas giant on the system's fringe. You ease the wanderer forward. Your hand rests on the controls. A strange tension fills the small cockpit. You feel like a trespasser in a sacred place, a place that has been sleeping for a very long time. The crimson light seems to sap the warmth from the air. You check the ship's life support systems. Everything is normal, yet a chill runs down your spine. It is the feeling of being watched, a primal instinct screaming at you from the dark. But you are alone out here, aren't you? You round the small, pockmarked moon, and there it is. Your breath catches in your throat. It is a ship, a derelict vessel drifting in the silent dark. It is unlike any design you have ever seen, and it is the source of the ghost signal. The message still pulses from it, a faint heartbeat in the crimson gloom. The ship is ancient. Its hull is a dark, matte black. It seems to absorb the red light of Vega, giving nothing back. The design is elegant and brutal, a collection of sharp angles and smooth curves. It looks more grown than built, like some great star-born creature, a leviathan sleeping in the deep. Your scanners try to get a reading. They struggle to penetrate the strange hull. The material is unknown to your databases. It has no energy signature, no heat, no radiation. It is a hole in space, a blind spot for your advanced technology. You are flying blind, entirely on gut feeling. The only sign of life is the repeating signal. The children of Sol are not forgotten. Find us at Vega's halo. It calls to you from that dead ship, a siren song from a silent tomb. Caution screams at you to turn back, to leave this place and never return. But curiosity is a stronger force. You decide to get a closer look. You pilot the wanderer on a slow approach. The derelict looms larger and larger. Its scale is immense, far bigger than your own small vessel. It could swallow your ship without a trace. Portholes dot its surface like vacant eyes. They stare out into the red-lit void, unblinking and empty. There are no markings on the hull, no flags or insignia, no clue as to its origin or its purpose. It is a complete and utter mystery, a puzzle box floating in a dying star system. You bring your ship alongside it, matching its slow, silent drift. It is time to find out who sent that message and why their ship is so very quiet. You run a final scan for threats. The results are the same. Nothing. The ship is cold and dead, or so it seems. You know better than to trust your scanners completely. Some things hide deeper than light or energy can reach. But the lure of the unknown is too strong. You prepare your docking clamps. It is time to go aboard. The silent ship waits for you. It holds its secrets close. The docking clamps engage with a solid thud. A secure connection is made between your ship and the derelict. You are now physically linked to the mystery. An umbilical cord stretches between the wanderer and the silent craft. You stand in your airlock, helmet sealed. The outer door hisses open, revealing the hull of the other ship. A section of the dark metal retracts before you. It forms a perfect circle, an invitation. No flashing lights, no welcoming announcement, just a silent opening into the unknown. You take a breath of recycled air. Then you step across the threshold. You are inside the alien vessel. The air is breathable. Your suit's sensors confirm it. The atmosphere is a near-perfect match for your own. A surprising and unnerving discovery. The interior is as dark as the outside. Your helmet lights cut a sharp beam through the gloom. They reveal a corridor stretching forward. The walls are the same smooth, black material. There is no sound, not even the hum of machinery. The silence is absolute and profound. It presses in on you. It feels heavy, unnatural. You take a cautious step forward. Your magnetic boots clamp to the floor with a soft click. The sound is shockingly loud in the stillness. You proceed down the corridor. The architecture is alien. The hallway curves in ways that feel wrong, non-Euclidean and unsettling. Yet it also feels strangely familiar, like a half-remembered dream. You pass doorways that remain sealed, dark portals leading to unknown chambers. You feel no need to explore them yet. Something guides you forward. Your destination is the bridge, or what you assume is the bridge. It is the largest chamber you have found, a vast, cavernous space at the heart of the ship. And it is here that you find the crew. They are not dead. They are sleeping. Hundreds of them. They float in transparent pods, arranged in concentric circles around a central pillar. The pods glow with a soft, internal light. It illuminates the figures within. They are not human. Their forms are long and graceful. Their skin is the color of pale moonlight. They have no visible hair. Their faces are serene, peaceful. They are lost in a dreamless slumber, a state of suspended animation so deep it mimics death. Your suit's bioscanners confirm it. Their life signs are faint, almost undetectable. A slow, steady pulse of life in the quiet dark. These are the beings who sent the signal. These are the silent broadcasters. You walk among the sleeping crew, a silent observer in their silent world. They are beautiful in a fragile, ethereal way. You wonder what they are dreaming of, or if they dream at all. Your gaze is drawn to the central pillar. It is covered in glowing symbols, a language you do not recognize. But as you watch, the symbols shift. They morph into something you can understand. Data streams, ship's logs, historical records. The pillar is the ship's computer, and it is offering you its secrets. You reach out a gloved hand. You hesitate for a moment. Then you touch the glowing surface. The history of this place floods your mind. You stand before the glowing pillar, your hand pressed against its warm surface. The ship's logs flow into your mind, not as words or numbers, but as experiences. You see what the sleeping crew saw. You feel what they felt. A torrent of memories. A forgotten history. The story begins in a time of peace. This system was once vibrant with life. Worlds teeming with civilizations you cannot name. The beings in the pods were a part of that life. They were scholars, explorers, not warriors. Their ship was a vessel of discovery, a library of star science and art. Then the darkness came. It arrived without warning. A fleet of ships that blotted out the stars. Their design was pure aggression, jagged edges and weapons ports. They were the antithesis of this graceful, silent craft. They were a force of pure destruction, an enemy that sought only to consume. The logs show you the war, a desperate, losing battle. The peaceful peoples of Vega were no match for them. Fleets were shattered, planets were cracked open. The enemy was relentless, implacable. They were called the Shadow, a fitting name for a foe that devoured the light. You witness the fall of worlds. You see cities turned to glass, oceans boiled away into steam. The sorrow of the sleeping crew becomes your own, a profound grief for a lost home, for a golden age turned to ash. The red giant Vega seems to weep in the background of these memories. its light a constant funeral pyre. The crew of this ship made a choice. They could not win the war. They could not defeat the shadow. But they could save something. They could preserve a small piece of the system's soul. They turned their science to a new purpose, not for discovery, but for protection. They found the last human outpost, the colony at Vega's halo, a small, fledgling settlement on a distant world. The humans were new to the galaxy then, full of potential but vulnerable. The shadow had not found them yet, but it was only a matter of time. The sleeping crew decided to act. They made a pact. They would become guardians. They would shield the small human colony, hide it from the all-consuming enemy. It was a promise made in the face of annihilation, a final act of defiance against the dark. This ship became an ark, a tool to ensure that promise was kept. The last memory is the most vivid, the crew sealing themselves in their pods, initiating the dreamless sleep. They set the ship to drift, to broadcast its single, hopeful message. They put their faith in the future, faith that someone like you would eventually arrive, someone who could help. The logs end there. The flow of memories ceases. You pull your hand back from the pillar. The silence of the bridge returns. But now it is not empty. It is filled with the echoes of the past, the weight of a forgotten war. You look at the sleeping crew with new eyes. They are not just aliens. They are heroes, sentinels who sacrificed everything. And their long watch is not yet over. You now carry their burden. Their story is now your story. You leave the silent ship behind. The wanderer detaches from the ancient vessel. You feel a sense of reverence as you pull away. The ship of sleeping guardians continues its endless drift, a monument to a promise kept for centuries. You have its logs. You have its mission. Your course is set. You fly towards the location mentioned in the logs, the supposed site of the human colony, Vega's halo. The journey takes you deeper into the dying star system. The red light grows more intense. The feeling of being in a sacred but sorrowful place deepens. The silence out here is heavy with history. You arrive at the designated coordinates. Your ship's computer chimes, announcing your arrival. You look at the view screen, and your heart sinks. There is no colony here. There is no halo of human life. There is only a field of shattered rock, the remnants of broken planets. This is the halo. Not a ring of light, but a ring of destruction. A cosmic graveyard where worlds used to be. Huge chunks of planetary crust drift silently. Mountains float alongside fractured continents. It is a scene of unimaginable violence, a testament to the power of the shadow. Your ship glides through the debris field. The wanderer's sensors work overtime. They dodge the larger pieces of wreckage. It is a slow, somber flight, like walking through the ruins of a city. You see the faint outlines of what might have been cities, etched into the floating slabs of rock. All of it dead, all of it silent. This must have been the heart of the old system, the place where the war was lost. The shadow did not just defeat its enemies. It erased them. It pulverized their very existence. A cold anger builds within you, a hatred for this unseen, faceless enemy. How could anything be so thorough in its malice? You feel a sense of despair. Did the Guardians fail? Was their long sleep for nothing? Was the human colony destroyed along with everything else? The ghost signal now feels like a cruel joke, a lure that brought you to a cosmic tomb. You almost turn your ship around. There is nothing here but dust and echoes. But then your long-range scanner picks something up. A single, faint energy signature, deep within the densest part of the shattered ring. It is small and well hidden, masked by the radiation from the dying star. It is a needle in a haystack of planetary wreckage, a flicker of life in a field of death. You push the wanderer forward, weaving through the cosmic tombstones. Your hope, which had almost vanished, rekindles. A tiny spark in the crimson gloom. The energy signature grows stronger. It is stable. It is artificial. It is a sign that something, or someone, survived the cataclysm. You navigate around a particularly large piece of a planet's core. And there, suspended in the void, you see it. A single world, intact and whole. It is the last planet of Vega, the last survivor of the Shadow's rage. And it is exactly where the Guardian said it would be. The last world, the true location of the halo. The planet is a jewel in a field of rubble. It glows with a soft, internal light, a mix of blues and greens, a startling contrast to the red of Vega. But what truly captures your attention is its shield. A shimmering, impenetrable barrier of storm clouds. It encases the entire world, a violent, swirling defense against the outside. This is how it survived. This is how the Guardians protected it. They hid it behind a veil of impossible weather, a fortress of lightning and wind. The storm shield is a work of genius, a masterpiece of forgotten star science. It has kept this world safe for centuries, hidden from the all-seeing eye of the Shadow. The planet itself is the colony. Vega's halo is not a place, it is a sanctuary, the last bastion of life in a dead system. Your ship's computer confirms a breathable atmosphere beneath the clouds, and signs of life. Not just vegetation, but complex energy grids, cities. There are people down there. You receive a new transmission, not the looping ghost signal. This one is live. It comes from the planet's surface. Unidentified vessel, a calm voice says. You have pierced the outer veil. State your intentions. You are approaching the last sanctuary. The voice is not human. It is melodic and ancient. You open a channel. Your voice feels rough after so long in silence. This is the Wanderer, you reply. I followed a signal, a message about the children of Sol. There is a long pause. The silence stretches out. You wonder if you have made a mistake, if they will see you as a threat. Then the voice returns. The Wanderer. The prophecy spoke of a wanderer, the child of Sol who would return. The storm shield will open a path for you. Descend to the spire. We will await you there. The transmission ends. Before you, the violent clouds begin to part. A calm corridor opens in the raging storm, an invitation to the last world. Your ship, the Wanderer, is small. The landing craft designed for planetary descent is even smaller. You call it the Leapfrog. It detaches from the main vessel with a gentle hiss. You leave your home in orbit, a silent guardian watching over this last world. Your journey to the surface begins. The path through the storm shield is a perfect tunnel, a calm cylinder carved through utter chaos. Outside the cockpit view, lightning flashes. Winds of impossible speeds churn, giant clouds of ice and gas collide. It is a terrifying and beautiful display of power, a testament to the Guardian's skill. The descent is smooth and controlled. The Leapfrog handles perfectly. You are a falling stone in a river of storm. As you drop lower, the crimson light of Vega fades. It is replaced by the planet's own gentle blue sky. It is a sight you have not seen in a long time, a sky that feels like home. You break through the final cloud layer. The surface of the last world spreads out below you. It is a world of impossible beauty, lush green forests, sparkling blue oceans, and in the center of the largest continent, a single, massive spire. It towers over the landscape, a needle of white material piercing the sky. The spire is immense. Its scale defies belief. It must be hundreds of miles high. Its peak is lost in the upper atmosphere. The structure is elegant and smooth. No visible seams or joints, like it was carved from a single piece of bone. It glows with a soft, internal luminescence. This is your destination. Your lander's navigation system locks onto a signal from the spire, a welcoming beacon guiding you to a landing platform. The platform is located near the base of the structure. It is a wide, flat expanse of the same white material. As you approach, you see figures waiting for you. They are tall and slender, wrapped in flowing white robes. They stand perfectly still. Their forms are graceful and serene. They do not look like the sleeping crew of the derelict ship. They are something else entirely, another piece of this system's complex puzzle. The inheritors of the Guardian's promise. The leapfrog touches down with a soft bump. The landing gear absorbs the impact. The engines wind down into silence. For a moment, you just sit there. You look out at the figures, at the massive spire, at the impossible blue sky. You have come to the end of a very long road. A road that started with a ghost signal. You unbuckle yourself from the pilot's seat. You cycle the lander's airlock. The ramp lowers with a quiet hum. The air that greets you is sweet and clean. It smells of rain and growing things. You take your first steps onto the surface of Vega's halo. Your boots make no sound on the white platform. You walk towards the waiting figures. They do not move. They simply watch you approach. Their faces are hidden in the shadows of their hoods. As you get closer, one of them steps forward. It raises a long, three-fingered hand in a gesture of greeting. "Welcome, Wanderer," the voice says. It is the same melodic voice from the transmission. "Welcome to the spire. We are the inheritors." The figure lowers its hood. The face it reveals is not human. It is elegant and ancient, with large, dark eyes that seem to hold the wisdom of ages. The skin is a pale, luminous white, similar to the sleeping Guardians, but different, more solid, more real. "You have come a long way," the inheritor says. "Your arrival has been long awaited." You stand before the robed figures. Their leader, the one who spoke, regards you with ancient eyes. "I am Lyra," she says, her voice like soft chimes. "We are the caretakers of this world, and we are the guardians of the humans you seek." The words hang in the clean air, a confirmation of your wildest hopes. "The humans?" you ask. "They are here? They are safe?" Your voice is eager, filled with a relief so strong it almost makes you weak. Lyra nods slowly, a gesture of profound seriousness. "They are safe. They sleep, a long and peaceful slumber, protected from the sorrows of the galaxy." She gestures for you to follow. The other inheritors part to let you pass. They lead you from the landing platform into the base of the spire. The interior is even more impressive than the outside. A vast, open space filled with soft light. The walls are covered in the same flowing symbols you saw on the derelict ship. The first Guardians, the ones you found in the silent ship, brought them here, Lyra explains as you walk. They rescued the colony from certain doom. The shadow was consuming this system. The Guardians made a pact to save one small piece of it, one seed of hope, the human race. You are led into a central chamber. It is a garden, a vibrant, thriving ecosystem inside the spire. Strange and beautiful plants grow in abundance. A gentle stream murmurs nearby, and in the center of the garden, you see them, pods, just like the ones on the ship. But these are different. woven from living wood and glowing leaves. And inside are the humans, men, women, and children, thousands of them. They float in a state of dreamless sleep. Their faces are peaceful. They have not aged a day since they were brought here. They are a snapshot of a lost era, a perfect preservation of the colony of Vega's halo. Why are they asleep, you ask, your voice a whisper? Why not let them live in this beautiful world? Lyra turns her dark eyes to you. This world is a paradise, she says. But it is also a cage. The storm shield that protects us also imprisons us. We could not risk the shadow detecting any sign of their waking minds. So you became their protectors, you say, the scale of their sacrifice dawning on you. You and the sleeping ones in the ship. Lyra nods. The first guardians gave their consciousness to power the shield, to maintain the long watch. We, their children, were born here. We have tended the sleepers in this world for generations. It is our only purpose. They are a society built around a single promise, a promise of protection made to a fledgling human race centuries ago. They have sacrificed their own freedom, their own future, all to keep the last humans safe. It is a display of loyalty so profound you can barely comprehend it. They had nothing to gain from this. It was an act of pure altruism. We have watched over them, Lyra continues. We have learned from their records. We know of your people's courage, your resilience. We knew that one day, another child of Sol would find the signal, someone with the strength to face what is to come. Her words are heavy with unspoken meaning. What is to come? You ask, a sense of dread creeping back. You had almost forgotten the enemy, the reason for all this secrecy and sacrifice. Lyra's gaze lifts. She looks up through the transparent ceiling of the garden, up towards the distant crimson glow of the dying star Vega. The star's decay weakens the shield, she says softly. The shadow has been blind for centuries. But now, its eyes are beginning to open. It can feel the life hidden here. It is a hunger that never fades, a darkness that never forgets. As she speaks, a shrill alarm echoes through the spire, a piercing sound that shatters the garden's peace. Red lights flash on the walls. A symbol you recognize from the derelict's logs appears, the symbol for the enemy. It is here, Lyra says, her voice losing its calm melody. The shadow has returned. The serene garden transforms into a command center. The air crackles with a new tension. The gentle inheritors move with a sudden, practiced urgency. The glowing symbols on the walls shift and change. They now display tactical information, sensor readings from the outer system. The peaceful sanctuary has become a fortress on high alert. Lyra stands beside you, her gaze fixed on a large projection that has appeared in the center of the chamber. It shows the Vega system, and at its edge, a new arrival, a fleet of ships. Their profiles are jagged, aggressive, just as you saw in the logs of the sleeping guardians. They are ships built for one purpose: destruction. The shadow, you breathe. Seeing them for real is different. It is not a memory or a historical record. It is a present and immediate threat. They are a swarm of darkness against the red glow of Vega. And they are moving directly towards this world, the last world. Their long-range sensors must have detected the flaw in the shield, Lyra says. Her voice is tight with concern. They know we are here. They have come to finish what they started centuries ago. The inheritors work at their consoles, their long fingers flying across the glowing surfaces. They are trying to reinforce the storm shield, to buy more time, One of the inheritors turns to Lyra. Their weapons are charging, it reports. They will begin bombarding the shield within the hour. The news hangs heavy in the air. The storm shield is powerful, but it was never meant to withstand a direct, sustained assault from a full battle fleet. It is a veil, not a wall. Lyra turns to you. Her ancient eyes search your face. Wanderer, she says, her voice regaining some of its calm. There is still a path for you. Your ship is in orbit. It is small. It could slip away in the confusion. We can create a diversion, allow you to escape back into the void. It is a generous offer, a path to survival. You could leave. You could take the story of Vega's halo with you. Let the rest of the galaxy know what happened here. It would be the logical choice, the safe choice. Your own survival versus a battle that is not yours to fight. But you look at the sleeping humans in their living pods, at their peaceful, unaware faces. You look at Lyra and her people, a race that has sacrificed everything for a promise made to your species. A promise they are still willing to die for. How could you leave them to face the darkness alone? There is another option, Lyra says, as if reading your thoughts. You could stay. You could fight with us. But I must be clear, our chances are small. We are scholars and gardeners, not warriors. We have no weapons to fight a fleet like that. It is a statement of fact, not of despair. The choice is laid bare before you. Escape and live, or stay and face near certain annihilation for a cause that is greater than yourself. It is a human choice. Perhaps the most human choice of all. To run from the storm, or to stand against the tide. The faces of your ancestors, sleeping peacefully in this garden, seem to call to you. You think of your ship's name, the Wanderer. You have drifted for so long, searching for purpose, for something worth fighting for. And now you have found it. Here, at the edge of a dying system, in a hidden world protected by noble guardians, your wandering is over. You have found your place. I will not run, you say. Your voice is firm, full of a conviction you did not know you possessed. I will not abandon them, or you. A smile touches Lyra's lips, a small, brief expression of relief and gratitude. I had hoped you would say that, she replies, because while we may not have weapons, the first guardians left us a key, a final defense, and it requires a human touch. Lyra leads you away from the garden chamber, deeper into the heart of the massive spire. The corridors descend now, spiraling down into the planet's crust. The soft white light gives way to a more functional glow. This part of the spire feels less like a home and more like a machine, a place of immense power held in reserve. The spire is more than just a home and a shield generator. Lyra explains as you walk. Her robed form glides effortlessly beside you. It is the last weapon of the old system, a planetary defense system of incredible power. It has been dormant for centuries, waiting for the one who could awaken it. And that's me, you ask. Why me? Why a human? You are still trying to process the scale of it all. A simple scavenger caught in a galactic saga. It feels like a dream, a very dangerous and very real dream. The first Guardians integrated their technology with the colonies, Lyra says. They wove their science and ours together. The Spire's control system is a product of that union. It can only be fully accessed by a mind that understands both sides of its creation. A mind from the children of Sol. You arrive at a final, massive door. It is sealed tight, covered in intricate patterns that glow with latent energy. Lyra places her long-fingered hand on its surface. The door hums and retracts into the walls, revealing the chamber beyond. It is the core of the spire, a nexus of unimaginable technology. The room is circular. In the center is a single command chair. It sits on a raised platform, facing a panoramic view screen that currently shows the approaching shadow fleet. The chair itself looks simple, almost plain, but it is surrounded by a halo of floating holographic controls, waiting for a pilot. This is the command nexus, Lyra says, her voice filled with reverence. From here, you can control the spire, wield its power. The first Guardians believed it could repulse the shadow, drive them back into the void. You look from the chair to the screen. The dark ships of the enemy are growing larger. Their menace fills the view. What kind of power are we talking about? You ask, a little light humor to break the tension. Are we talking big space laser or something more subtle? Lyra does not smile. Her focus is absolute. The spire draws energy directly from the planet's core, she says, and from the storm shield itself. It can project that energy, reshape it. It is not a single laser. It is a symphony of destruction. You approach the command chair. The holographic controls flicker to life as you get closer. They seem to recognize you, to welcome you. They display readings and symbols that, to your astonishment, you can understand. It is a mix of human and Guardian languages. But your mind reads it fluently, as if you have known it all your life. This is your purpose, the reason the ghost signal called to you, the reason you survived the journey, the reason you made the choice to stay. You are the key, the human touch required to unlock this world's salvation. The weight of that responsibility is immense, but it is also clarifying. It gives you strength. You settle into the command chair. It conforms to your body perfectly. The holographic controls surround you, a universe of power at your fingertips. The fleet will be in range soon, Lyra says, her voice coming over an intercom. We will divert all power to you. The fate of Vega's halo is in your hands now, Wanderer. You take a deep breath. Your hands hover over the controls. On the screen, the shadow fleet looms, an armada of darkness. They have come to extinguish the last light in this system. But they are about to learn a very important lesson. This world is not alone, and its new guardian has just woken up. The command chair hums beneath you. Power surges up from the planet's core. Through the spire, it converges on this room, on you. The holographic controls glow with intense light. You feel a connection to the spire, to the entire planet. You are no longer just a pilot in a chair. You are the will of this world. Enemy fleet in weapons range, Lyra's voice announces. Her calm tone belies the incredible tension of the moment. On the main view screen, the lead shadow vessel blossoms with light. Dozens of energy projectiles launch from its hull. They streak towards the planet, a volley of pure destruction. They are targeting the shield, you say to yourself. Your fingers fly across the holographic controls. You are not thinking. You are reacting. The spire's systems are an extension of your own thoughts. You divert a massive amount of energy from the storm shield's southern pole. You reshape it, focus it. A brilliant beam of pure energy erupts from the spire's peak. It lances out into space with impossible speed. It is not a laser. It is a cohesive torrent of lightning and plasma, a captured piece of the storm. It strikes the incoming volley of enemy fire. The two forces meet in a silent, blinding explosion. The space between the planet and the fleet burns with light. A cheer goes up from the inheritors in the control center below. You hear their joy and relief over the intercom. But there is no time to celebrate. The shadow fleet is not deterred. They alter their formation, spreading out to present a wider target. More ships begin to fire. They are testing your defenses, probing for a weakness. You are a conductor of a powerful orchestra. Your hands move in a blur. You raise energy shields in one sector. You fire lances of focused energy from another. The spire responds instantly to your commands. The sky above Vega's halo ignites with a storm of its own making. A battle of light against dark. One of the smaller shadow ships breaks from the main fleet. It makes a fast run towards the planet, trying to slip under your main defenses. They are trying for a low-altitude attack, you note. The spire has a solution for that. You activate a subsystem, a network of energy projectors hidden across the planet's surface. The projectors rise from the ground, hidden within mountains and under oceans. They fire in unison, creating a web of energy in the upper atmosphere. The small shadow ship flies right into it. The web envelops the vessel. It struggles for a moment, like an insect in a spider's web. Then its own power systems overload. The ship detonates in a silent, fiery ball. The battle rages on. It is a grueling affair. The shadow is relentless. They have numbers on their side. For every ship you damage, 2 more take its place. But the spire's power is immense, drawn from the heart of the world itself. It does not wane. It does not falter. You target the larger ships now, the command vessels at the rear of the fleet. You have to break their coordination. You weave together multiple beams from the spire, twisting them into a single, unstoppable drill of energy. It takes a huge amount of concentration. The world outside your command nexus fades away. There is only you, the chair, and the enemy. The drill of light strikes the largest shadow vessel, the fleet's command ship. Its shields flare violently. They hold for a few seconds. But the spire's power is too great. The beam pierces the hull. The command ship convulses. A chain reaction of explosions tears it apart from the inside. It vanishes in a flash of white light. A hole in the shadow's heart. The loss of their command ship throws the enemy fleet into chaos. Their organized assault falters. They begin to fire erratically. Some ships even turn and flee, back into the cold void from which they came. The tide has turned. The darkness is receding. You press your advantage, lashing out with the spire's power, driving them back. One final, massive pulse of energy from the spire sends the last of them running. Silence falls. The battle is over. The sky above Vega's halo is clear once more. The only light is the soft blue of the atmosphere and the distant crimson of the dying star. You have done it. You have driven back the shadow. The view screen shows the last enemy ship disappearing into the dark. They are gone. The power recedes from the command chair. The intense connection to the planet fades to a gentle hum. You lean back, exhausted but exhilarated. Sweat beads on your forehead. Your muscles ache. But you are victorious. A wave of relief washes over you. So powerful, it almost brings you to your knees. Lyra's voice comes over the intercom. It is filled with an emotion you have not heard from her before. Pure, unadulterated joy. "You did it, Wanderer," she says. "You have saved us. You have saved them all." You look over at the monitors showing the sleeping humans. They are still safe, still dreaming their peaceful dreams. You leave the command nexus. The spire is quiet again. The inheritors greet you as a hero. They bow their heads in a gesture of ultimate respect. You feel a little awkward. You were just a scavenger, a drifter. But you found something here you never knew you were looking for. A home, a purpose. In the days that follow, you work with the inheritors. You help them repair the damage to the storm's shield. You teach them what you know of the wider galaxy, and they teach you their ancient star science. You are no longer a visitor here. You are a part of this world. You stand with Lyra on the high balcony of the spire. You look out at the peaceful world spread below. The gardens, the forests, the oceans. It is a paradise saved from the brink of destruction. The shadow will return someday, Lyra says. It is not a question. It is a certainty. I know, you reply, and we will be ready for them. You look at your hands, the hands that commanded a world, the hands that drove back an ancient evil. You are not the same person who followed a ghost signal into this system. You have been changed by this place, forged into something new. The sleepers will awaken one day, Lyra says, when the galaxy is safe for them, when the shadow is no more than a bad memory. They will need a guide, a protector who understands both their world and the dangers of the stars. She looks at you, her ancient eyes full of meaning. The role is yours now. The pact made by the first guardians has been passed to you. You are the bridge between the old and the new, between the sleeping humans and their inheritor protectors. You are the shield against the darkness, the keeper of the last sanctuary. Your ship, the Wanderer, still orbits the planet, a silent reminder of the journey that brought you here. But you know you will not be leaving. Your wandering days are over. You have found your halo, and you will protect it, no matter what comes. You are the new guardian, and your watch has just begun. The message arrived on a Tuesday, a very boring Tuesday at that. You were calibrating the deep space comms array. Your screen flickered, a single repeating signal. It was a ghost from the past, a voice from a place long given up for dead. Vega's halo, the legendary lost colony. For 2 centuries, nothing. Not a whisper, not a single photon of contact. Everyone assumed the worst. Cosmic radiation, system-wide famine, or maybe they just grew tired of us. We sent our best and brightest to that distant star. They simply vanished into the great, dark ocean. The signal was weak, a tiny thread of sound across an impossible distance. It sliced through the normal chatter of the cosmos. It was tight beam, focused, and undeniably human. It spoke of survival. It whispered of a home held against all odds. Your fingers flew across the console. You amplified the signal, filtering out the star song. Then the words came through, clear and desperate. "This is Governor Eva Rostova," the voice said. "Of the Vega's Halo colony, we are alive, but we are under siege." A pause followed, filled with the crackle of energy. "They are coming. They have breached the outer markers." The voice was strained, full of a weariness that transcended years. Your heart hammered against your ribs. This changed everything. 200 years of accepted history evaporated. The lost were not lost at all. They were fighting for their lives, and they were calling for help. You opened a priority channel to Fleet Command. You knew this day would be your last boring Tuesday for a very long time, probably ever. It seems quiet was no longer on the menu. The message looped, a haunting plea. It carried more than just words. It carried the weight of generations. Generations born under a strange sun. Generations who fought a hidden war. You listened to the echo again and again. Each time, a new layer of desperation revealed itself. You had to act. Humanity had to answer the call. The silent echo was now a deafening roar. Days later, it appeared. A ship drifting into your system's edge. It moved without power, a silent, metallic phantom. Its design was archaic, yet it was unmistakably one of ours. It was a long-range courier, a type not built in a century. It hailed from the Vega system. There was no doubt about its origin. Patrol craft approached with caution. They hailed the vessel. There was only silence. Life support signals were non-existent. The ship was cold, a tomb flying through the void. It was a ghost ship in every sense. Its hull was scarred, pitted with marks from unknown weapons. Whatever it had faced, it had not gone down easily. A remote drone breached the airlock. Its cameras fed you a stream of eerie images. The corridors were dark, littered with debris. Emergency lights flickered erratically. They cast long, dancing shadows. There were no bodies, no signs of a struggle, just an unsettling emptiness. The crew had simply vanished. It was like they were erased from existence. The drone reached the bridge. A single console was still active, running on emergency power. On the screen was the ship's log. The final entry was a video file. You watched it on the main view screen of your command center. An officer appeared, his face etched with fear and exhaustion. "They don't die," he said, his voice a ragged whisper. "Our rounds pass right through them." He looked over his shoulder at something beyond the camera's view. "They aren't taking the ship," he continued. "They are taking us, one by one." He leaned in close. His eyes were wide with a terror you had never seen. "The warning must get through. Don't come here. It's a trap." The feed cut to static. The ghost ship had delivered its desperate warning. Its crew had paid the ultimate price to do so. Some days, the universe really knows how to spoil a good mood. The log contained more fragments. Data bursts about the enemy. They called them the Swarm, a fleet of biomechanical ships. They moved with a hive-mind intelligence. Their tactics were flawless and utterly without mercy. The ghost ship's crew had tried to fight. They had tried to run. Neither had worked. Their final act was to send their vessel on a final, desperate trajectory. A message in a bottle, tossed into the cosmic sea. The Council of Captains convened an emergency session. Your fleet's greatest minds gathered in the Grand Chamber. The ghost ship's log played on the central display. The officer's final warning echoed in the hallowed hall. A heavy silence descended upon the room. The truth was stark and terrible. Admiral Kincaid stood first, a man carved from granite and stellar dust. "This is a clear threat," he boomed. His voice filled the chamber. "The Swarm, whatever they are, must be confronted." He pointed a thick finger at the star chart. "Vega's halo is sovereign human territory. We must defend it." He was a warrior, and he saw a war to be fought. Then, Ambassador Thorne offered a different view. She was a diplomat. Her words were her weapons. "Admiral, we must be cautious," she urged. "We are talking about a colony lost for 200 years. She gestured to the log data. "Their own warning says it is a trap. Are we to sail our fleet into an ambush?" She made a good point. A very good, very boring point. The debate raged for hours. The fate of an unknown number of souls hung in the balance. To go was to risk the entire fleet. The Swarm's capabilities were a terrifying unknown. The ghost ship's defenses were useless against them. What chance did your ships have? But to stay was to condemn the colonists to extinction, to ignore their cry for help. You were given the floor. All eyes turned to you. You were one of the fleet's most respected commanders. Your opinion carried immense weight. "The warning says, 'Don't come here,'" you began. But the colony's message was a plea for help. You paused, letting the contradiction sink in. The courier crews sacrificed themselves to warn us of the danger, not to tell us to hide. You looked from the Admiral's stern face to the ambassador's worried eyes. We cannot abandon them. Not now. Not after 200 years of silence. You proposed a third option. Not the entire fleet, but a small, elite task force. A surgical strike. Fast enough to get in, and hopefully smart enough to get out. It was a gamble. A tremendous one. The council fell silent, considering your words. The fate of Vega's halo, and perhaps your own, rested on their decision. The council approved your plan. The mission was a go. The responsibility settled upon your shoulders like a lead cloak. You were to lead the rescue, to command the newly christened Task Force Ares. Your ship, the Odyssey, would be the tip of the spear. A vessel built for exploration, now being refitted for war. Your first task was to assemble your crew. You needed the best humanity had to offer, not just soldiers, but thinkers, engineers, and a few people who were just a little bit crazy, the kind of crazy that gets things done. You started with your second in command, Commander Eva Rostova, a direct descendant of the colony's governor. Her family had kept the faith for generations. She had to be there. Next, you needed a master of engines. Jax, a wiry tech wizard who spoke more to machines than to people. He could coax 10% more power from any engine, even ones that were currently on fire. He once fixed a starship's primary reactor with a wrench and a string of colorful metaphors. The metaphors were apparently very important. You did not ask for details. For tactical, you chose Gunnery Chief Marcus Thorne. No relation to the ambassador. He was a veteran of a dozen brushfire wars. He saw combat as a complex dance, a problem of angles and timing. He could shoot the wings off a gnat at 1,000 kilometers. And he enjoyed the challenge. His calm demeanor in a firefight was legendary. Your science officer was Dr. Aris Thorne. Okay, this one was the ambassador's son. But he was brilliant, a specialist in xenobiology and energy fields. He was your best hope of understanding the swarm, of finding a weakness. He saw the universe as a beautiful puzzle. He was about to get a very ugly new piece for his collection. This small group of experts. This was your team, your family, the few who would venture into the great unknown, to face a foe that consumed worlds. The journey to Vega's halo was long. 6 weeks of travel through the deep, unending dark. The stars on the view screen were cold, distant diamonds. Space was vast, silent, and deeply unnerving. The Odyssey was a tiny bubble of life and warmth. A single ship against an infinite blackness. It was enough to make anyone feel small. You settled into a routine. Drills, system checks, long hours on the bridge. You pushed your ship and your crew. The swarm would be waiting. There was no room for error. Commander Rostova was a pillar of strength. Her connection to the colony gave the mission a personal weight. She trained the Marine contingent with a fierce determination. Jax lived in the engine room. He was a blur of motion and muttered genius. He kept the Odyssey's heart beating strong and fast. He claimed the ship spoke to him. You were not entirely sure he was joking. He did manage to increase your top speed by another 2%. He said the ship appreciated his good humor. Chief Thorne spent his time in the armory. He personally calibrated every weapon system. He ran simulations of the swarm attack over and over. He was looking for a flaw in their perfection, a crack in their impenetrable defense. He was a predator, waiting patiently for his moment to strike. Dr. Aris Thorne was glued to his sensors. He analyzed the data from the ghost ship. He built models of the swarm's energy signatures. Their biology and technology seem fused, he explained one evening. It's like their ships are alive, or their warriors are machines. His work was vital. Understanding the enemy was the first step to defeating them. The days bled into weeks. The silence of the void was a constant companion, a reminder of the immense gulf that separated you from home, and the even greater danger that lay ahead. 3 weeks out from Vega's halo, something changed. A subtle shift in the fabric of space. Dr. Thorne was the first to notice it. His sensors picked up faint energy readings. They were unlike anything he had ever seen. Not a ship, not a star. Something else entirely. Something ancient and powerful. Commander, you need to see this, Aris said over the comm. His voice was tight with excitement and a hint of fear. You joined him in the science lab. The display showed a swirl of exotic particles. They danced around your ship just outside of sensor range, a ghost in the machine of the universe. They're watching us, Aris whispered. They have been for days. The energy signatures were incredibly faint, almost impossible to detect. It was a form of stealth that defied known physics. Your ship was being shadowed by an unseen and unknown presence. You were no longer traveling alone. A classic good news, bad news situation. Good news, you found new life. Bad news, it might want to kill you. You ordered the ship to silent running. A pointless gesture, perhaps. If they could see you, they could likely hear you. But it was all you could do. The crew grew tense. The invisible eyes were a constant weight on their minds. Every flicker of a light, every creak of the hull, was a potential threat. The darkness outside the ship seemed deeper, more menacing. Chief Thorne doubled the watch rotations. Commander Rostova kept the crew busy with more drills. Anything to keep their minds off the unseen observers. But the feeling remained, the sense of being watched by something old, something vast, and something that was waiting for you to reach your destination. The journey to Vega's halo had just become infinitely more complicated. The unseen presence was a wild card, a variable you could not account for. Friend or foe, you had no way of knowing. The attack came without any warning. One moment, the void was empty. The next, it was full of enemies. Dozens of swarm vessels materialized from nothing. They were biomechanical nightmares, all sharp angles and pulsating organic parts. They moved with a terrifying grace, a swarm of silent killers. Alarms blared through the Odyssey. The bridge became a controlled chaos. Multiple contacts, bearing 310. Chief Thorne's voice was calm but firm. They are on an attack vector. On the main screen, you saw them, a cloud of smaller fighters escorting a larger capital ship. They moved as one entity, a single, murderous thought. There was no communication, no demands, only the cold certainty of their attack. Evasive maneuvers. You ordered. The Odyssey lurched as the thrusters fired. The first wave of enemy fire washed over you. The ship's shields flared, straining under the assault. Energy beams of a sickly green color crisscrossed the darkness. They were fast and frighteningly accurate. This was no random encounter. They had been waiting for you. Return fire, Thorne commanded. The Odyssey's pulse cannons roared to life. Bolts of blue energy shot towards the swarm fighters. Some hit their targets, causing the alien ships to shudder. But they did not explode. They seemed to heal themselves, the organic parts knitting back together. It was like fighting creatures from a horror story. Jax was screaming from the engine room. Shields at 70%. They're draining us fast. The Odyssey shuddered again, a direct hit to the port side. The lights flickered. "Their weapons are adaptive," Dr. Thorne reported from his station. "They are analyzing our shield frequencies and adjusting their attacks." This was bad. Very, very bad. It meant your primary defense would soon be useless. The first battle had just begun, and you were already on the verge of losing. Your weapons were strangely ineffective. The pulse cannons, the pride of the fleet, were like pea shooters. They annoyed the swarm, but did not stop them. The enemy fighters swarmed your ship, a relentless tide of death. Their green energy beams sliced at your shields. The shield indicator dropped with sickening speed. 60%. 50%. "Reroute all available power to the shields," you commanded. Jax fought with his console, his fingers a blur. "I'm giving her all she's got, Captain," he yelled back. "The conduits are overheating." A new alarm sounded, a high-pitched wail. "We have boarders." Commander Rostova's voice was ice-cold over the comm. "They're cutting through the hull on Deck 7. The swarm were not just trying to destroy your ship. They were trying to take it and its crew, just like the ghost ship. You watched the tactical display. Red lights blinked in the ship's lower sections. The Marines were engaging the enemy. The sounds of their weapons echoed faintly through the deck plates. A desperate defense was underway. "Chief Thorne, we need a new idea," you said. Your voice strained. "Conventional tactics are failing." Thorne's eyes were narrowed, focused on the battle screen. "They move as one," he murmured. "A hive mind. Maybe we can break their connection." He pointed to the larger swarm ship. "That's their command vessel, the nexus of their network." It was a crazy idea, a suicide run. To get to the command ship, you would have to fly through the heart of the swarm. But it was the only idea you had. "Dr. Thorne, can you find a weakness in that command ship?" you asked. "A vulnerability?" Aris was already working, his hands flying across his console. "Its energy signature is massive," he said. "But it fluctuates. There's a pattern, a rhythm, a heartbeat, a moment of weakness." It was a long shot, the longest shot in a history of long shots. But it was better than dying without a fight. "Rostova, hold them off as long as you can," you ordered. "Jax, prepare for a full power burn, directly at that command ship." The crew looked at you, their faces a mix of fear and resolve. They knew the odds. They knew the stakes. And they were with you, to the very end. Just as your shields were about to collapse, a light appeared. A brilliant silver light from the direction of Vega's halo. It was a massive beam of pure energy. It lanced out from the planet and struck the swarm command ship. The vessel reeled, its movements becoming erratic. The smaller fighters faltered, their coordinated attack breaking apart. The view screen cleared enough for you to see it. Vega's halo. It was not a defenseless colony. It was a fortress world. The entire planet was encased in a shimmering energy shield. A halo of immense power, the source of the beam that had just saved you. The colony was fighting back, and they had a very big gun. "What in the stars is that?" Jax breathed from the engine room. Dr. Thorne was ecstatic. "It's a planetary defense grid. The energy readings are off the scale." He pointed to the shield. "That halo, it's not just a shield. It's a weapon. The colonists have weaponized their entire world." This explained how they had survived for 200 years. They were not hiding. They were holding a fortress. A new communication channel opened. It was a calm, female voice, the same voice from the original message. "This is Governor Rostova of Vega's Halo," she said. "We are glad you could make it. We were beginning to think you were not coming." There was a wry humor in her tone, the kind of humor that comes from living on the edge of oblivion. "We are here to help," you replied, a wave of relief washing over you. Your timing was perfect. The swarm was in disarray. The command ship was damaged. The fighters were confused, their hive-mind connection severed. "This is your chance," the governor said. "Strike now, while they are blind." The tide had turned, but the battle was far from over. With the swarm in chaos, you pressed your attack. Your pulse cannons, once so useless, now found their mark. The damaged swarm fighters exploded in showers of green and black. The Odyssey danced through the debris, a vengeful predator. But your real questions were for the colony. How had they built such a fortress? Where did this power come from? The governor's voice returned, guiding you in. "Bring your ship into the Halo's shadow," she instructed. "All right, the swarm will not follow you here." You piloted the Odyssey towards the glowing planet. As you passed through the outer layer of the shield, your sensors went wild. The energy was not technological, it was organic, alive. You were met by a delegation from the colony. Governor Eva Rostova was there, a woman whose face showed both strength and weariness. With her were beings unlike any you had ever seen. They were creatures of pure light and energy. They had no fixed form, shifting and swirling like captured starlight. They were beautiful and deeply alien. "Welcome to Vega's Halo," the governor said, "and allow me to introduce our allies. We call them the Elder Ones." The name was spoken with reverence. The comma seemed intentional, a pause of respect. The Elder Ones did not speak with voices. They communicated with thoughts, with feelings. A wave of calm and ancient wisdom washed over you. "We have waited long for your arrival." A chorus of thoughts echoed in your mind. Dr. Eris Thorne was speechless. He stared at the energy beings, his mind racing to comprehend them. "They are a symbiotic species," he whispered to you. "They have merged with the colonists, with their technology." The Halo Fortress was not just a machine. It was a living being, a fusion of human ingenuity and alien power. The Elder Ones had saved the colony, and they were the reason the swarm was so determined to conquer this world. The Elder Ones showed you the heart of the Halo, deep beneath the planet's surface, in a vast crystalline cavern. There it was, an artifact of immense power. It pulsed with a soft, internal light. It was a sphere of perfect, white energy. It was the source of the Halo's power, the reason for the swarm's relentless siege. It is called the Heart of the Stars. The Elder Ones communicated. Their thoughts were tinged with a deep sadness. It is a seed of creation, a font of life. In the wrong hands, it can be a weapon of unimaginable destruction. The swarm did not want to destroy it. They wanted to consume it, to absorb its power and spread their darkness across the galaxy. Governor Rostova explained further. "The first colonists discovered the heart," she said. "It was dormant. The Elder Ones were its guardians. The arrival of humans had awakened the heart, and in doing so, it had sent a ripple through the cosmos. A dinner bell for the swarm, the alliance between humans and the Elder Ones, was born of necessity. A shared need to protect this powerful secret weapon. For 2 centuries, they had succeeded. The Halo Fortress had held back the swarm, but the enemy was learning, adapting. The siege was growing stronger. "The Halo is weakening," the governor admitted. The heart cannot sustain this defense forever. The swarm knows this. They are waiting for us to fail. Now you understood. The desperate message. The ghost ship's warning. The colonists were not just fighting for their own survival. They were fighting to protect the entire galaxy. If the swarm captured the heart, no world would be safe. The secret weapon was also a terrible burden. A responsibility that now rested on your shoulders as well. A council of war was held. Humans and the Elder Ones gathered around a holographic map. The swarm fleet was regrouping outside the halo. Their numbers were vast, far greater than your small task force. A direct confrontation was impossible. You were hopelessly outgunned. Even with the halo's power, it was a battle you could not win. "We cannot win a war of attrition," Chief Thorne stated bluntly. "We need to cut the head off the snake." His eyes were fixed on the holographic image of the main swarm command ship, the one you had damaged. It was their queen, their central intelligence. If it fell, the entire swarm fleet would be thrown into permanent disarray. But the queen was heavily defended. It sat in the center of their formation, protected by thousands of warships. A direct assault was suicide. Then, Dr. Eris Thorne had an idea. A brilliant and terrifyingly risky idea. "The heart," he said, his voice barely a whisper. "We could use its energy, not as a shield, but as a weapon." The Elder Ones recoiled at the thought. "The heart is a tool of life," they projected. "To use it for destruction is a great and terrible risk. It could be consumed by the violence." Aris countered their point. But if the swarm wins, the heart will be consumed anyway," he argued. "This is our only chance to end the threat. Permanently." The plan was daring. You would use the Odyssey as a lure. You would fly directly at the swarm fleet, drawing their attention. While they were focused on you, the colonists and the Elder Ones would channel the heart's energy, not as a wide beam, but as a concentrated, surgical strike. A spear of pure creation, aimed at the heart of the swarm queen. It would require perfect timing, and a level of courage bordering on insanity. It was your only hope. The Odyssey flew from the safety of the halo. You were the bait, alone against the entire swarm fleet. Your ship felt very small. On the bridge, the mood was tense but resolved. Your crew trusted you. They trusted the plan. Jax had pushed the engines to their absolute limit. The Odyssey had never moved so fast. "They're taking the bait," Chief Thorne reported. The swarm fleet began to move, to converge on your position. Tens of thousands of biomechanical ships, a sea of darkness. Their goal was to overwhelm you, to crush you before you could get close to their queen. Green energy beams filled the void around you. The Odyssey weaved and dodged, a silver fish in a sea of sharks. "Governor, now!" you yelled into the comm. From the surface of Vega's halo, the beam erupted. It was not the wide defensive pulse from before. This was a needle of pure, white light, a spear of unimaginable energy. It crossed the void in an instant, silent and deadly. It moved faster than light, a line of pure creation drawn across the battlefield. The spear struck the swarm queen. For a moment, there was only silence, a brilliant white light. Then, the queen's ship began to unravel. It came apart not in an explosion, but in a dissolution. It simply ceased to be. Its matter converted back into pure energy. A wave of light washed over the battlefield. A wave of uncreation. The effect on the swarm was instantaneous. The smaller ships faltered. Their movements became random, chaotic. The hive mind was shattered. The ships began to attack each other, or fly aimlessly into the darkness. The great and terrible swarm, the scourge of the Vega sector, was broken. You had done it. The final stand was a success. The battle was won. But the cost was heavy. The Odyssey was battered, barely holding together. Its hull was a patchwork of scorch marks and gaping wounds. You had lost crew members, good people who had given their lives to protect the ship. To complete the mission, their names would be remembered as heroes on the planet. The victory was also bittersweet. Channeling the heart's energy had taken a massive toll. Several of the Elder Ones had faded from existence, their life force consumed by the weapon. They had made the ultimate sacrifice to save their home and their human allies. The crystalline cavern that housed the heart was now dimmer. The great artifact was weakened. A somber mood settled over Vega's halo. You stood with Governor Rostova, looking out at the stars. The debris of the swarm fleet was a glittering memorial to the battle, a reminder of the price of freedom. They will be mourned, the governor said softly. The humans and the Elder Ones who fell today, they bought our future. But amidst the sorrow, there was hope. The swarm was defeated. Vega's halo was safe. The lost colony was lost no more. The silence had been broken, and a connection had been forged in the fires of war. A connection between the two branches of humanity, separated by centuries and stars. You had faced the darkness and won. The victory was costly, but it was a victory nonetheless. In the aftermath of the great battle, a new alliance was born. Humanity, reunited after 200 years, stood together with the Elder Ones. The lost colony of Vega's halo became a beacon of this new cooperation, a symbol of what could be achieved when different peoples came together. A new chapter in star science had begun. The Odyssey was repaired, its wounds healed by the advanced technology of the colony. The knowledge of the Elder Ones was shared freely. They taught you about the heart of the stars, about the deeper energies of the cosmos. Your understanding of the universe expanded in ways you had never imagined. It was a new age of discovery. Dr. Eris Thorne worked side by side with the Elder Ones. He was in his element, a scientist exploring a new frontier of knowledge. Jax learned to coax even more power from the Odyssey's engines, using the organic principles of the Halo's technology. Chief Thorne and Commander Rostova trained a new generation of defenders, combining human tactics with the wisdom of the Elder Ones. You, the commander who had gambled everything on a desperate plan, were now an ambassador, a bridge between two worlds. Your mission was no longer about fighting wars. It was about building a future where humanity and its allies stood together, ready to face whatever new challenges the stars might throw at them. The journey had been long and perilous, but it had led to this: a new beginning, a new hope, a new alliance, forged in fire and destined for the stars.